Hi, I'm Fran. I'm still a boomer.
And I'm Tyler, and I'm still a Zoomer. So, how was your month, Fran?
It's wonderful. I had
That's
a
awesome.
great month, full of activity as always.
Yeah.
Reaching out to people, showing homes.
Yeah. How's the market
It's a,
been?
it could be better, but it could be worse.
That is always
Interest
true.
rates are kind of, like that.
They're expected to
But
drop in September, though, so now might be the
that's what
time
I'm
to become a
talking about.
homeowner. But
Yes.
speaking of home ownership, Fran, do you want to touch a little bit on that since it's such a special month?
Yes. Well, it is the month to own a home. And there are so many programs to help, especially first time buyers. I mean, there's one that we know of with 20 grand they're
Yeah.
giving.
So we can actually get you guys a
Yeah.
free $20,000, a free Honda Civic if you'd like, towards your next house purchase.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this month is actually home ownership month. So the topic of today's episode is going to be how to become a homeowner.
Correct.
So Fran, I kind of just wanted to ask you, how do you buy a house? What's the first step?
The first thing is to talk to a loan officer. That's the most important. I know you're anxious to go look, but you must do the steps accordingly
Definitely.
because that's so important.
And we did touch about how to get pre-approved and how to reach out to a loan officer in our last video, so feel free to check that out after you watch this one
Yes.
if you guys wanted to get a little recap on that. But the next step, I would say, after you get your pre-approval and after you meet with your real estate agent and discuss your guys' needs, would be the home search. Everybody's
Correct.
favorite part. Going
Yes.
around looking for houses, going with your realtor, and just taking a look, you know what I mean? Seeing what you like, seeing what's on the
Exactly.
market,
What's in
what's
your price
available.
range.
Definitely. And I
Yeah.
always like to say this whenever looking for houses. If financially it makes sense, then it makes money, right? There we go.
Exactly.
But so the next step would be after you find your house, so you find your dream home, right?
Right.
What's next?
Paperwork.
Okay.
And lots of it. This is just a purchase agreement. And look, so I show this to you because you really need to work with a realtor that knows what steps to take, how to advise you, explain all the paperwork,
Definitely.
because that's really important.
And so this paperwork right here, the purchase agreement, this is just the initial paperwork you have to make an offer on the house, which would be your
Correct.
next step after you find your dream
Correct.
home, right? And so whenever you're making an offer on your house, you want to make sure that you're working with your realtor and that they are working with the listing agent to help try to find you the best deal on that property.
Right.
And now we live in a sort of the market currently right now is
Yes.
where there's a lot of seller credit being asked around. There's a lot of splitting escrow. There's a lot of just sort of terms and stuff like that your realtor will know and that they can help guide you to better navigate the market that you're in.
And
Right?
a lot of negotiation.
Definitely.
That's what we do. We're experts in negotiation because that is everything. If
Definitely.
you don't have a person that's walking you through the process, you're going to end up with not a good deal.
So, for example, the last house I sold, we actually had 3 offers in on the property at the same time, right? And so, typically, most people might think, okay, well, let's just accept the highest, right? You know what I
Right.
mean? Boom, call it a day at that. But as a realtor and knowing the market, I actually was able to, in 3 days of negotiation with both of the offers, I was actually able to get my seller $14,000 more than we initially had on the
Wow.
property.
See that?
So it just goes to show how important it is to have a good realtor who's there for you in times where, you know,
Exactly.
you might not, some realtors may just say, you know what, we're not going to forget about the negotiations. We
Right.
got it locked in. Let's go for it. But a good realtor should be there for that extra mile and
Yes.
make sure, hey, you know, we could lock in right now, but we could actually get more money. And as a realtor,
Yes.
I'm all about saving my clients the most money
Absolutely.
possible.
Yep, I agree.
So, after you negotiate, you get your deal on the property, the steal of a lifetime on your dream home. What's next?
Well, the next step actually is you go through escrow, more paperwork, a lot of disclosures, because California has a lot of disclosures. Because why? They don't use attorneys. We use us.
We are
We're the
your
ones
attorneys.
that walk you through all this paperwork and look out for your best interests, of course.
Definitely. So once you get the house in escrow, you're actually going to be doing inspections
Yes.
on the property. So as a buyer, you're going to walk through the whole property with professionals who know everything about the house, home inspectors, which we can provide for you guys. So you don't have to go out your way looking on Craigslist or anything
Yeah,
like
we
that.
can recommend you.
We work with people daily, and we're happy to provide them for you guys. But so in this inspection process, we're looking at everything in the house. We're going
Exactly.
top to bottom, nail to nail,
Yes.
looking over anything that could be wrong with the house. And once the inspector calls out everything that could be wrong with the house, negotiations are back on. We're
Again.
back with the seller, and we're
Yes.
trying to get everything that's paid for, that has came up in that report,
Yes.
to be paid for by the seller, if not all, half at least.
Yeah. But bear in mind, your contract, it says you're buying it as is, except for health.
Definitely. And so
Health and
that's
safety.
and so what that's what the inspector is going to call out. Anything
Correct.
that causes sort of a sense of not wellness to your security, I
Well,
guess,
like
lack of
smoke
better terms.
detectors, smoke detectors, carbon monoxide, stuff like that.
The eaves, roof condition, just pretty much everything about the house. So that's where you need that's another reason why you need a good realtor.
Yes.
When you're already in the escrow, you can, instead of having to pay all this money extra to make these repairs, if you have a good agent, 9 times out of 10, they can get some of those repairs paid for you.
Again, no negotiation.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Now, so we got the loan, the inspections went through great. Nothing came up on the house, or if they did, the seller paid for it all, and you guys are ready now to close your house. But there's one small thing in between that. We have to finalize the loan. And so what this is your mortgage company is actually going to just finalize all of your the pre-approval that you worked on
Correct.
maybe a month ago or so,
Yes.
and then you go from there, and then once the bank approves the purchase of the house, boom, you're good to go, and you're closing on your house.
Yes.
So what kind of goes on during that closing period?
Then you party. You have a good
Okay.
time. You have a party.
Well, not all party, because you do need to pay. This is where you do need to pay your closing costs. You need to sign your final paperwork to transfer the home ownership, and you need to carefully review all of your documents. I don't know how much times I can say this. Please, if you get a contract, especially for something as important as a house, read it. Just read it. It's not like your iPhone user agreement or anything like that where you just scroll through. This is an actual contract to purchase a property, and I see it all the time where I send a contract to a client to sign,
Right.
and boom, it's signed back to me within 30 seconds.
Which means they didn't
You
read it.
can't read it. And
Yeah.
so whenever this happens, it creates room for errors. Meaning if something, maybe I put something in the contract, right? But it wasn't necessarily, maybe we were just off on this. We didn't have the same page, right? So what that could lead to is just confusion. We're going to have to make another contract to get that signed and fixed.
Correct.
But if we're all on the same page and you're
Yes.
reading the documents and you carefully review everything and you say any changes that need to be made beforehand, then everything's a lot smoother.
Yes.
Definitely.
And
So
then you could party.
yeah, and then it's time to party and reap the benefits of home ownership.
Yes, and there's many.
Definitely, which we've definitely covered in our previous videos. So
Yes.
feel free to check those out as well.
And if you want, we have, just reach out to us. We have a nice, wonderful booklet,
Yeah.
things to consider when buying a home. And we have it in Spanish as well.
Yeah. So these booklets are sort of just going into more detail about what we
Yes.
just covered. So that way, if you guys still have some more questions, or if you want to get a more in-depth analysis of how to buy a house,
Yes.
feel free to reach out to us. We can provide you guys with the material you guys can read to do so.
Yes.
Yeah. So I have some questions for you, Fran, if
Sure.
you don't mind.
No, not at all.
So since we're talking about home ownership, I want to ask, when did you buy your first house?
I bought my first house in 1999.
Wow. Nice.
And it was like 115,000.
Where'd you buy it at, if you don't mind me asking?
In Adelanto.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
I was working for a new home builder.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you know what? I need to buy a home.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And then I bought my second home where I live now. So it's been wonderful. It's nothing like owning your own home.
So you said that you just knew that it was ready for your time to buy a home. What
Yes.
what sort of led to that it's time to buy a home?
I was tired of paying rent. I mean, that is like actually just throwing away your money.
Yeah, you're paying
You have-
somebody else's mortgage.
Exactly. And you have no tax benefits at all. So yes, I'm glad I did it. I don't regret it for 1 minute.
So as a first-time home buyer at that time, what was sort of the challenging parts for you as that first-time home buyer? Because in today's market, there is so much first-time home buyers, and they
Yeah.
are struggling to be able to either get the funds for the down payment,
Yes.
for the monthly payments. There's a lot of challenges in the
Yes.
marketplace. So for you, when you bought your home back then, what was one of the most challenging parts?
Well, the wonderful thing about it was these government loans, 3.5% down. And then, of course, sometimes if you don't have the money, you can ask for closing costs. Not that they always give it to you, the seller, but you can ask. So the money was the big thing for me. So I was happy that all I needed was 3.5%. Some people think you need 10%, 20%. Not in these days.
And
So,
actually,
yeah.
today too, if you can't afford that 3.5%, there are down payment assistance programs
Exactly.
that will give you the 3% up front. Therefore, you can get into that house and just essentially have to pay for closing costs, which, if you have, again, a skilled realtor, they can
Yes.
negotiate those closing costs down for
Negotiation.
you or to zero for you. So
Yeah.
essentially, there's a possibility you could have walked into a house paying nothing out of pocket if you
Exactly.
have the right realtor.
And if you're a veteran, you need no money down either.
Yeah.
And we love to help veterans.
Definitely. So, one of the big parts about home buying, especially for first-time home buyers, is their must-have features. Everybody has something in their house that they really want.
Yes.
Whenever you bought your house, did you have any must-have features, or were you just happy to be a homeowner?
I was happy to be a homeowner, but I love the fact that I had a garage.
Oh, okay.
That was
Yeah.
a huge, big
Definitely
factor
nice.
for me in a backyard.
Yeah.
So that was wonderful.
So back then, did you work with a real estate agent, or
Yeah,
were
I was working in a new home community,
Okay.
and nothing like new homes either. If you want to go looking for new homes, you need a realtor.
Mm-hmm.
The realtor that sits there works for the builder. They don't have your best interests at heart.
Yeah, so basically what Fran's trying to say is whenever it comes to new construction homes, you definitely want to make sure that you
Yes.
have a buyer's agent with you. So
Correct.
that way you can you can have somebody protecting your own interests and stuff like that. Because if
Exactly.
you work with just the seller of a new construction home, they are representing the seller and they are representing you. Therefore, it can get a little
you don't
little
have someone
gray.
looking out for you.
Yeah.
Really.
Okay,
So that's
cool.
important. So let's talk about this month. We got a lot of things going
Yeah,
on.
definitely.
Well, I just found out about that stand-up.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys noticed this
Yeah.
or if you guys ever knew, but we have a comedy show here in Victor 6 Thursday. They're going to be presenting a stand-up comedy show at Green Tree Boulevard. And the address is 14173 Green Tree Boulevard. So if you love comedy, if you love the
Yeah,
comedy scene,
I'm
come
looking
check out some
forward to
local
it.
comics and see have some good
Something
laughs.
to do.
Yeah.
And then Father's Day is the 16th. And then the 19th is Juneteenth, which is, of course, the liberation of slavery. So that's a huge factor. And June 20th is summer.
Woohoo! And it's already starting to get hot. It already feels like summer to
it's
me.
too soon.
After we're done recording this, to be perfectly honest, I'm hopping right in the pool. It's
you
that
go.
type of weather. But yeah, is there anything else you wanted to touch on this amazing month?
No, buy a home, sell a home, do something. Just don't sit around.
Definitely.
You got to do something to improve your life.
You're wasting your time
Yeah.
with other investments, such as like if you want to go with like Bitcoin or something like that. Hey, it may work out, but home ownership has a proven track record of
Absolutely.
working out years over years. And with the right agents, like we mentioned in this video and in the past,
Yes.
you can actually achieve this and make it make sense. Because like I say,
Absolutely.
if it makes sense, it makes money. Awesome. Well, hey, make sure to
Yeah.
like, subscribe, and comment down below
Yes.
what you liked about this episode. And please let us know what you would like to see in future episodes. That way we can sort of help you guys
Yes.
out with topics that you're interested in. So, yeah,
Exactly.
feel free to check us out.
Give us a call.
Yeah, take care, and we'll see you guys next month.
Amen.
Yeah.